You can tell how experienced a Jeep owner is by one thing, whether they know these settings exist. Because hidden inside your Jeep are features that can save you money, improve safety, and unlock performance most people never touch. But almost nobody uses them. And number 2 is one you'll wish you knew years ago. Number 10, the Eco Mode nobody ever turns on. Almost every modern Jeep built after 2014 has an Eco Mode hiding in the Drive Mode selector. The Wrangler JL has it. The Grand Cherokee has it. The Compass has it. The Cherokee has it. The Gladiator has it. And about 90% of owners have never flipped it on. On the 2025 Grand Cherokee with a 3.6-liter V6, Eco Mode changes the engine mapping, softens the throttle response, and shifts the 8-speed transmission into higher gears way earlier than normal. The result is somewhere between 1 and 3 extra miles per gallon on highway driving, which adds up to roughly $300 to $500 a year in gas savings. So why does nobody use it? Because Eco Mode makes the pedal feel mushy and lazy, and Jeep people hate that feeling. They try it once on a Tuesday, get annoyed by the slow throttle, and never touch it again. But that is like throwing away $400 a year because you did not like how the gas pedal felt on a highway cruise. For long road trips, it is free money sitting on your center console that you keep driving past. That one bleeds your wallet slowly, but this next setting could save your life in about half a second, and you have zero idea it even exists. Number 9, the ESC partial off mode that nobody knows exists. Every Jeep sold in the last 15 years has electronic stability control. You probably know you can turn it off completely for off-roading by holding the ESC button down. But what almost nobody realizes is that there is a middle setting between full on and full off. On the JL Wrangler, the JT Gladiator, and the WL Grand Cherokee, you press and hold the ESC button for about 5 seconds, and the system enters partial off mode. Traction control relaxes so your wheels can spin freely in sand and mud, but stability control stays active in the background. That is a huge difference. Full off means if you slide sideways on a trail, the computer does nothing. Partial off means the computer lets you play but catches you before you roll. A 2023 NHTSA report found that ESC systems prevent around 1,400 fatal crashes per year across all vehicles in the United States. Having that safety net running while you still get traction freedom is the exact middle ground that Jeep engineers designed this for, and most owners blow right past it. Now that one works when things go sideways on dirt, but this next system works when things go wet on pavement, and it has been protecting you for years without ever telling you. Number 8, the invisible brake system you never knew was running. This might be the wildest one on the list. On Grand Cherokee models from 2011 all the way through the current WL, and on several Cherokee and Compass trims with the advanced brake package, there is a system called rain brake support that activates every single time your windshield wipers turn on. You cannot control it. You cannot see it. There is no light on the dash. What it does is pulse the brake pads lightly against the rotors every few seconds to burn off the water film that builds up in rain. Most vehicles lose 20 to 30% of their stopping power in the first second or two of hard braking in a storm because the pads have to push through that water before they grip metal. Your Grand Cherokee skips that gap entirely. By the time you slam the pedal, the rotors are already warm and dry. You have been driving in rainstorms for years, thinking your brakes just happen to work well. They do not just happen to work well. Your Jeep has been quietly doing the work behind the scenes every time those wipers clicked on, and you had absolutely no idea. So your Jeep has been secretly keeping you alive in the rain, which is pretty cool. But this next setting is about something your Jeep can do that you are actively wasting money by not using. Number 7, the custom drive mode that 70% of owners ignore. If your Jeep has the Select Terrain system, you know the basic modes: auto, snow, sand, mud, rock. Twist the dial, pick your situation, done. But on Grand Cherokee models with QuadraDrive 2 or QuadraTrack 2, and on newer Compass and Cherokee trims with the Select Terrain package, there is a 6th option called Custom Mode that almost nobody touches. And that is a shame, because Custom Mode is where you stop letting the computer guess and start telling it exactly what you want. You can set throttle response independently from transmission behavior, independently from traction control. That means you can build a profile where the pedal responds aggressively for highway merging, but the traction control stays tight for wet roads. Or you can loosen everything for a specific trail and save that setting so it is ready every time. Forum polls show over 70% of select terrain owners leave the dial on auto permanently. That means the majority of people who paid for this system are using maybe a fifth of what it can do. And the custom mode that would actually match their daily driving sits one click away, completely untouched. Now remember when I said number 6 would show you a screen your dealer does not want you to see? We are here. Number 6, the hidden engineering menu behind your touchscreen. On any Jeep with a Uconnect 8.4-inch or 10.1-inch touchscreen, and that covers the Wrangler JL, Grand Cherokee WL, Gladiator JT, Cherokee KL, and Compass MP, there is a hidden diagnostic screen built into the system that dealership techs use for troubleshooting, and you can access it from the driver's seat in about 5 seconds. Press and hold the up and down arrows on the steering wheel at the same time. Hold them for 5 seconds. The screen flips to an engineering menu showing system data, software versions, GPS signal strength, and technical readouts that normal menus never show you. But it goes deeper than that. On some models, pressing both arrows along with the front defrost button opens a second-level dealer menu with individual sensor readings and module diagnostics. This is the screen that a tech charges you $150 an hour to look at. Now I am going to be straight with you. Do not change anything in these menus. Messing with the wrong setting can brick your infotainment system, and that is an expensive fix. But being able to see what your Jeep is thinking in real time, reading error codes, checking sensor status, that alone can save you hundreds on diagnostic fees. Uconnect runs in over 8 million Stellantis vehicles on the road, and this menu is baked into every single one of them. Your dealer just never told you the button combo. That one lets you peek behind the curtain, but this next mode changes how your engine behaves every single day, and you are almost definitely using it wrong. Real quick, this is the kind of thing most Jeep owners overlook, and it's exactly why I put together my longevity guide. It's all the small habits and settings that make the biggest difference over time. If you want it, it's linked below, but let's keep going. Number 5, the sport mode that does way more than you think. Sport mode exists on almost every modern Jeep. Compass, Cherokee, Grand Cherokee, Wrangler, Gladiator. Most people think it just makes the engine feel a little peppier. It does way more than that. On the 2025 Grand Cherokee with the 3.6-liter V6, Sport mode raises shift points by 1,000 to 1,500 revolutions per minute, so the transmission holds gears longer. It sharpens the throttle mapping so small pedal inputs get a bigger response. And on models with adaptive suspension, it stiffens the dampers for tighter cornering. The Wrangler and Gladiator get the same throttle and transmission changes. The Compass gets tighter steering response on top of the powertrain adjustments. Now, the reason most owners ignore sport mode is because they think it just burns more gas, and they are partially right since fuel economy drops about 10 to 15%. But consider this. If you are merging onto a highway, towing a trailer up a hill, or driving through mountain switchbacks where the transmission keeps hunting between gears and driving you crazy, sport mode fixes all of that instantly. It holds the gear you need and gives you throttle when you ask for it. That is not a toy. That is a tool. And you should be using it every time the situation calls for it, instead of leaving it untouched on the dial. That one is right there in front of you every day, but this next trick is hidden so well that people have literally called tow trucks instead of figuring it out. Number 4. The dead key fob trick that saves you a tow truck. This works on every single Jeep with push-button start. Wrangler JL, Gladiator JT, Grand Cherokee WK2 and WL, Cherokee KL, Compass, and Renegade. All of them. Your key fob dies. The push-button start needs a wireless signal. No signal, no start. You are stranded. Except you are not stranded at all. Slide the small latch on the back of your fob and pull out the hidden metal key. Use it to manually unlock the driver door. Now sit down, press the brake, and hold the flat, rounded end of the dead fob directly against the push-button start. The vehicle reads a passive transponder chip inside the fob through physical contact and fires right up. No battery needed. People have paid for tow trucks. People have called Uber rides to auto parts stores. People have had their Jeeps flatbedded to dealerships for a $3 CR2032 battery. All because they did not know they could just press the fob against the button. Jeep put this in the owner manual around page 38 to 42, but who reads page 42 of an owner manual? Almost nobody. and that almost nobody is the reason AAA gets thousands of calls a year from Jeep owners with dead fobs who are sitting 10 seconds away from a perfectly working vehicle. That one is almost embarrassing once you know it, but this next setting is about preventing something you cannot see coming at 70 miles per hour. Number 3. The blind spot setting you have never adjusted. On Wrangler JL models from the Sahara trim up with the Active Safety Group, and on Grand Cherokee WL trims with the Advanced Safety Package, the blind spot monitoring system has adjustable sensitivity levels that you can customize. Inside the Uconnect menu under Safety and Driving Assistance, there are separate sliders for blind spot monitoring sensitivity and rear cross traffic alert sensitivity, low, medium, and high. The factory default is medium, and medium is fine for suburban commutes, but if you drive in a city with tight lanes and aggressive merging, medium might not warn you early enough. Bumping it to high gives you extra seconds of reaction time before someone slides into your blind zone. On the flip side, if you tow a trailer or have a roof rack that triggers ghost alerts, dropping to low kills the phantom warnings without shutting down the whole system. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety found that blind spot monitoring reduced lane change crashes by 14%. But that stat only helps you if the system is calibrated to your actual driving life. Factory default is a guess. Your settings should not be a guess. That one could stop the crash you never see, and this next fix is for the thing that has been annoying you every time you look up at your rearview mirror. Number 2. The compass fix that takes 30 seconds. If your Jeep has a built-in compass and it reads wrong, you probably assumed it was broken. You are not alone. Forum members have driven their Jeeps for 5, 8, even 12 years with a compass pointing the wrong direction. One guy on the Grand Cherokee forum said his compass read south when he was driving north, for 3 straight years. The fix takes 30 seconds. The Earth's magnetic field varies by region, and Jeep divides North America into 15 variant zones that each need a specific number. On the Wrangler JL, go to Personal Settings through the steering wheel menu, select Calibrate Compass, and drive in slow circles until the cal indicator disappears. On Grand Cherokee and Cherokee models with the overhead console compass, press and hold Reset and Step together until VAR appears, then dial it to your zone using the map around page 330 of the manual. That is it. 30 seconds and a fix that some owners have spent $200 at a dealership to have done because they did not know they could do it themselves. And that brings us to number 1, the setting I told you about at the very beginning, the one that has destroyed more Jeep drivetrains than any other single mistake. Number 1. The $3,800 mistake almost every flat tower makes. Remember the guy from the top of this video? The one who fried his transfer case after 87 miles of flat towing? This is exactly what happened to him, and exactly how you avoid it. Jeep Wranglers and Gladiators are some of the only vehicles that can be flat towed behind a motorhome on all 4 wheels without a dolly. The RV community loves them for this. But a terrifying number of owners get one step wrong, and it costs them between $2,500 and $4,000. On automatic JL Wranglers and JT Gladiators, you have to shift the transfer case into its own neutral position. This is completely separate from putting the transmission in neutral. The transfer case neutral sits between 4 high and 4 low on the shift lever, and it disconnects the entire drivetrain so the wheels can spin freely without turning the internal gears. If you only put the transmission in neutral but leave the transfer case engaged, those gears spin dry at highway speed with 0 lubrication. The transfer case cooks in under 100 miles, sometimes way less. Jeep forums are packed with these horror stories. Owners who follow generic RV forum advice instead of the actual Jeep flat tow procedure on page 260 of the manual. 1 setting, 3 seconds to activate, and skipping it is the single most expensive mistake in the entire Jeep ownership experience. So, which one surprised you the most? Or which one have you been ignoring this whole time? Drop it in the comments. And if you want more hidden Jeep features, mistakes, and tips like this, hit subscribe because the next video might save you way more than you expect. See you in the next one.